Oligopolies. An oligopoly is an industry that contains two or more firms, at least one of which produces a significant portion of the industry's total output. An example of an industry that represents an oligopoly is the smartphone industry. There are a few firms in the industry. They sell smartphones and smartphone-related products, such as chargers, headphones, phone cases, and other electronic devices. The producer is the price setter, which means they choose the price at which they price their product. They have the ability to differentiate their product, which means they can set the price. Industries that are in oligopolies and monopolistic competition markets are price setters because they can differentiate their product, whereas industries in perfect competition markets are price takers because they cannot differentiate their product. A firm in this industry is Apple. They differentiate their product by selling it in a variety of colors, including the trendy rose gold. Their new phones are able to be charged wirelessly, they have no headphone adapter, and have a seamless design. Apple is very innovative and creative. They are constantly coming up with new technology and applications. Apple aims to be the first to the market with new products that they have created. This differentiates their product from other firms in the industry. The basic dilemma of oligopoly. Oligopolistic firms will make more profits as a group if they cooperate. Any one firm, however, may make more profits for itself if it defects while the others cooperate. In oligopolies, there are different styles of cooperation and collusion available. Firms can be cooperative. This means that firms cooperate to produce the monopoly output and maximize their joint profits. This is called cooperative outcome. For example, Apple and Samsung may agree to price their products similarly so that they can maximize their joint profits. When firms focus on their own gains without considering the reactions of others, it is a non-cooperative outcome. Collusion is when firms agree to cooperate in order to restrict output and raise prices. There are three types of collusion: overt collusion, covert collusion, and tacit collusion. Overt collusion means an open agreement. The advantage to overt collusion is that everyone in the industry has open information and no one is hiding anything. The disadvantage to this is that since it is an open agreement, it cannot be easily used to drive out competition. Covert collusion is a closed agreement. The advantage to covert collusion is that it can be kept as a secret agreement between firms to drive out competition. The disadvantage to covert collusion is the possibility of covert cheating. Covert cheating is when secret discounts and rebates can allow a firm to increase its sales at the expense of its competitors while appearing to hold to the tacitly agreed price. Tacit collusion is when all firms behave cooperatively without being an explicit agreement to do so. In the short run, a firm should not produce at all if the total variable cost exceeds the revenue. If it is worthwhile for the firm to produce at all, the firm should produce at the output at which marginal revenue equals marginal cost. Here is a graph that shows what a profit looks like in an oligopoly market structure. Since we want to produce at the point in which MR equals MC, looking at the graph MR equals MC at Q1 units and at a price of $11. Looking at the graph, the company covers the average total cost for producing Q1 units when they sell the product for $12. The demand curve tells us that consumers are willing and able to pay $15. Since the company would be covering the average total cost at $12 while selling the product for $15, the company is making a profit. Here's a graph that shows what a loss looks like in an oligopoly market structure. Since we want to produce at the point in which MR equals MC, looking at the graph, MR equals MC at Q1 units and at a price of $7. Looking at the graph, The company covers the average total cost for producing Q1 units when they sell the product for $15. The demand curve tells us that consumers are willing and able to pay $12 for Q1 units. Since the average total cost is $15, but the company is selling the product for $12, the company is experiencing a loss. Here is a graph that shows what breaking even looks like in an oligopoly market structure. Since we want to produce at the point in which MR equals MC, looking at the graph, MR equals MC at Q1 units and at a price of $10. Looking at the graph, the company covers the average total cost for producing Q1 units when they sell the product for $15. The demand curve tells us that consumers are willing and able to pay $15. Since the company would be covering the average total cost at $15, while it is selling the product for $15, the company is breaking even, which means they are not making any money, but they are not losing any money. In the long run, oligopolies are able to maintain earning profits due to the high entry barriers preventing new competition from entering the market. Firms can protect their profits by making it costly to develop and market a new product, making it difficult for entry. Economies of scale. The larger the firm's sales of units, the lower the fixed cost that has to be recovered from each unit sold, resulting in lower costs, which would be difficult for startup firms to compete with. Firms can grow by buying out rivals or merging with them, or by driving rivals into bankruptcy through extreme competitive practices. This increases size and market shares of survivors. Surviving firms create and sustain barriers to entry where natural ones, like economies of scale, do not exist.